I actually filled this box pretty well, all things considered.
Wonderful.
As is tradition, we'll show off what the existing deck looks like. We'll try and organize these effectively. Okay, I remember. Put that there. Try and organize by seller if we can.
Oh, that's so thoughtful.
There we go. Ah! Okay, did write down most of these.
Oh.
Send in the sleeves. Okay, cool. Woo! Welcome all to the Cyberse stream. Similar to the one we did for Ice Barriers, this will be covering all the loot that finishes the respective new Cyberse deck. And oh boy, do we have a lot of loot to cover. We can probably start off with the miscellaneous stuff, which is courtesy of Infinite Cards LLC. They got us a bunch of sleeves for a boatload of decks.
Wonderful.
Basically, they had 2 of each of all the Magnificent Mavens sleeves, so I just scooped those up. So very appreciative of them. It was actually one of the faster ones to arrive via mail.
Oh.
Alright, we probably start with the small one. Overdose Gaming, they sent in a copy of Triple Tactics Thrust.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Overdose Gaming. YuGiOh cards, TCG. Which pile was this? Okay, cool. This one. So they covered a specific card, but they also sent in a bunch of other miscellaneous stuff, so very appreciative of them. What they sent in for the deck was a copy of Drastic Draw, which now that Malice is on the way in December, this card may be a nice tech choice. Probably 1 or 2 for the Malice deck, but definitely something to keep an eye out for. Plus, it's a Vrains reference, so it's automatically super cool.
Oh.
Tainted of the Tistina, really nice quarter-century secret rare. Not sure what I'll do with Tistina. We have a bunch of those cards, but I haven't really found a deck that I mesh with just yet, so those will be in the back burner, but definitely some cool cards. For the other miscellaneous stuff, they sent in Vanquished Soul Ryzen, Time Maiden, Number C101, Silent Honor Dark, Loki, Lord of the Aesir. Send a couple of those. Triple Tactics Talent, Ignoble Knight of High Lod Salin. I have a bunch of the basic Infernoble Knight stuffs and a few Noble Knights, but not this synchro. Nice Ultimate Rare Kieran the Mage. This was one of my favorites from the old school era. Nice Ultimate Rare Majestic Mech Oka. A lot of these you can normal summon without tribute, but they just go to the graveyard during the end phase. I think the zombie one doesn't do that if you have another zombie on the field, which is very nice. Montage Dragon, which is kind of ironic because a lot of the zombie stuff wants to be in the grave anyway. Reshif, the Dark Being. Never had this before, so this is kind of a cool one to have. Final Ritual of the Ancients. Discard a spell from the hand to take control of one monster your opponent controls until the end of the turn. Interesting. And then a nice secret rare Elemental Hero Shining Phoenix Enforcer, which is just a nice version of, what is it, Shining Wingman?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
This one's just basically the same thing, but it's got the Phoenix Enforcer caveat of cannot be destroyed by battle. How thoughtful.
Yeah.
All right, next on the list here.
Was that I think that was a different pile.
No, yeah, this was a pile we went over.
Oh. Okay.
Oh, I see what you mean. I mean, we can just organize them at the end. Kind of wondering how I want to, but for the sake of with how many cards we have, it's probably worth just keeping this all in one pile that we have covered. Let's see. Card Lab is up next. They sent in one specific card and again a slew of other things. They sent in 2 little piles here. Very thankful to Card Lab. Oh, piece of cardboard to kind of keep them straight. That's actually very thoughtful. I like that. They sent in actual like thick cardboard to keep them from bending.
Yeah.
Sent in, I believe, a couple, playset of Access Code Talker. Very nice to have. Garura, Wings of Resonant Life. This will actually cover a few other decks as well. Ones that I'm using Dogmatic Punishment in just to send something to the grave. But also YuGiOh will need this as a super poly target. World Sea Dragon, Zelantis. Haven't actually gotten a copy of this before, so interesting to see what I can splash this into. A few more Earthbound Prisoner Stone Sweepers for the Earthbound Runic deck. For the Cyberse deck, they sent in a copy of Geomathmech Magma. Surprisingly, didn't have any copies of this before. Destroys a monster by battle. Target up to 2 cards your opponent controls. Destroy them. If it's destroyed by battle or destroyed by an opponent's card effect, add a Mathmech spell or trap from deck to hand. Very nice. YuGiOh, the Loving Defender Forever. I think this covers all the copies we need for the deck. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 copies of Upstart Goblin. Now that Prosperity's been hit to 1, we're pretty much going to capitalize on as many desires in Upstart Goblins as we can. Do you want to cover this next pile?
Oh no, it'll be okay for you too. But thank you for checking.
Yes. Do you want to check what chat is saying over there? Just so I don't miss any messages.
Yes.
Also from Card Lab. This will be covering... Oh, I forgot I got these. Nice.
Jason asked, how are you? How was your week?
Well, it's pretty good. Pretty busy, but definitely nice to end it off with some YuGiOh streaming. How's it going on your end, Jason? Thanks for stopping by also. Very much appreciative. Number 15, Gimmick Puppet Giant Grinder for the Gimmick Puppet deck. Very cool. 2 copies of Centurion Auxilla. Didn't have any copies of this yet, but very nice to have. And then 2 Parallel Exceed. This will just cover a few other Cyberse decks we're kind of working on and prepping for. All right, next up. So we were missing a few cards at the last minute. So very thankful to Super Meta Bros and YuGiOh Hustle for coming in handy here. This was YuGiOh Hustle's edition. He sent in full playset of Cyanide Regression for free. So very appreciative of him for doing that. That was like one of the first people to respond when I was asking around to see if anyone had any additional cards. And Super Meta actually sent in quite a few handful of stuff for this deck, but also sent in a playset of Cyanide Regression for the deck. So very appreciative of Super Meta Bros for coming in handy here. Definitely check out their new page on Instagram, Super Meta Sales. They were contributing a lot to the stuff that's come in recently.
Your loyalty pays off.
I was going to say, they're also just great customer service. These guys sent in 4 copies, also for free. Definitely did not have to do that, but super appreciative nonetheless. They even put in a top loader. How thoughtful. All right. Start with pile number 1 here. We forgot there was tape on this. Nice to keep the cards sealed and snug in there. There we go.
I learned that this is the tape that they use on walls because of the paint.
Yeah. Hence the naming for it being painter's tape.
Oh.
But it's also just handy to have in general if you just want to seal something quickly because it's not too hard to pull off.
Oh, that's nice.
For the Cyberse deck, they sent in a second copy of Triple Tactics Thrust, as well as for the... I don't know what you really call it. I guess the Mana DM deck is the main thing we're using. But we also got a Viscus Amritara, which is just so awesome with the sword he's got. So that's very cool. And covering the last pile. Just check on chat for me for a second.
Oh, yeah.
Also, Super Meta Bros is very big on sending in stickers.
Jason said not a lot, and it's hard to fit new YuGiOh products in stores these days.
I was going to say...
Fine, sorry.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. Target had it cleared out. We've just been getting deck boxes as of late. I've mostly been going through TCGPlayer to get a lot of the booster sets and bigger stuff. But yeah, it's very hard to, unless you find like a dedicated card shop for Yu-Gi-Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Like when I'm traveling out of town,
Yeah.
definitely hard to come by. There are quite a handful of them in the Chicago area, but general
that's nice.
stores, yeah, it is hard to find.
Oh.
Also from Super Meta Bros, covering the Ragnaraka stuff. We're gearing up to start building up a few decks of those. We have 3 copies of Bloom. Very excited to have those. And 3 Stag Sovereign. It's a really cool looking rank 5, or link 5, I should say. 2 or more insect, plant, and or reptiles. Very cool looking. Very happy to have that. So now, as is tradition, we'll cover what the existing deck has. This one's going to be a bit more of a larger scale profile, as we also have a side deck. Full 15 cards, that is. It's basically just meant to be an extension of the extra deck. You'll just mix and match them as you need to, kind of splashing in additional supporting cards just to kind of help build up the deck, but the initial 15 in the extra deck is what we're working with at the start, but again, just kind of use the side deck as an additional extra deck to swap in. Cyberse Quantum Dragon. I believe we do have another copy of Cyberse Quantum floating around there. I do need to grab that. 1 copy of Cyberse Clock Dragon. We do run Clock Wyvern a little bit. We also have a newer fusion, Cyberse Desave Worm. This was from Cyberstorm Access from last year. Very cool card.
Wonderful.
Actually, no, it's 1 copy of Quantum. This is where Magma's supposed to go.
Oh.
I was considering 2 Quantum at one point. What were you saying?
Oh, that's amazing. You put an empty one so you know.
Yeah, it's basically a bunch of the deck will have a few empty spots, but that's just so I know where cards will specifically go, what roles they'll fill. 2 quarter-century Salmon Great Blaze Dragons, also good for the Salmon Great deck. Just a really good 2 of. If it has no material, it just goes into another copy of itself and then pops a card. So then it gives itself free material and then gets an additional effect using a copy of itself, as is tradition with Salmon Greats. Since Link Karibo got banned, we're now running Link Garibo, which is just good for the evenly matched counter or any other sort of problematic trap cards. What's a good way to get yourself out of Ibly Lock? That ever does happen to you. Splash in a Link Garibo. 2 Splash Mage just to help us link climb and get more materials. 1 Cyberse Witch to help search out Cyberse Ritual monsters, which you are running 1, as well as a copy of Cynet Ritual.
Wonderful.
1 IP Masquerena just to help with some of those link climbing and get into some of the higher links. Just they're protected by card effects. Decode Talker Heat Soul. Quick effect, pay 1,000 life points to draw a card. Also, if you have 2,000 or less life points, you get to float into a Link 3 or lower Cyberse from the extra deck. Except for, obviously, Heat Soul. Transcode Talker for more revival and link climbing. Firewall Dragon as the OG, just such a cool looking card. Nice way to just bounce stuff and also get some Cyberse back from the hand. And for the signature boss monster of the deck, using all these different extra deck types, we also have Firewall Dragon Singularity. I believe this is the first ever Link 6. It's just such an awesome looking card. 3 or more effect monsters. Get to, at quick effect, target cards your opponent controls are in their graveyard up to the number of different card types, Ritual, Fusion, Synchro, or Xyz. You control and in the grave, bounce them back to the hand. This card permanently gains 500 attack for each card. If a monster this card points to is destroyed by battle or sent to the graveyard, target a Cyberse in the graveyard and special summon it. So just a super vamped up copy, or sort of effects of Firewall Dragon, but also Firewall Dark Fluid. Focusing on some of those additional extra deck types. As mentioned, we are running a Ritual in this deck. We have Cyberse Sage. I don't know if we've ever showcased a Ritual card in any of the deck profiles, so this might be a big Sir Blackson 97 history right here. I have a nice Firewall Core. 2 Defender, just to get some of those Firewall monsters from the main deck. Guardian as a free additional Link monster, or Link material. And then Firewall Phantom for the Cynet Spell and Trap searching. 1 copy of Dotscaper, just a really good level 1 in general. Sent to the graveyard or banished, you get to special summon it. You only use one of those effects per turn, and each is a once per duel. So it's not like something you can just mass spam all you want. Link Infraflyer for free material. Gachiri at Ignister. As soon as we've used the Link monster or Effect monster's effect, we can just negate it. Get a free Gachiri, free material. Free Backup Secretary for free material on Cyberse cards. 2 Parallel Exceed for those rank 4s or just additional Link plays. Clock Wyvern to make the token, probably go into Link Garibo and then go into Cyberse Clock Dragon. 2 copies Balancer Lord just to get the additional normal summon. Also, if it's banished, you get a special summon a level 4 or lower from hand, which isn't necessarily a Cyberse, but very much comes in handy. Got 2 blank spots here. I gotta double check what that would be. Is that meant for thrust? No, that's over here. Probably overthinking it. We definitely have the cards.
Oh.
Just gotta find them. 2 copy of Link Slayer. Just free material and also some spell and traps. Also fills up the graveyard, which is very nice. Cyanide Rollback. Helps us grab one of our banished Cyberse monsters. A lot of the new effects, if your life points are 2,000 or less, you also get an additional, which is banish this from the graveyard to target 2 of your banished Cyberse monsters. Add them back to the hand. Very nice. Cyanide Ritual, just to get those ritual monsters going. Control no monsters, banish this card and a ritual monster from the grave. Special summon 2 Cyanide tokens, level 4 light Cyberse with 0 attack and defense. But you can't activate it the turn ritual was sent to the grave. Cyanide Fusion, just a nice way to grab those Cyberse fusion monsters using materials from hand or deck, or hand or field, as material. Control no monsters in the extra monster zone. You can banish up to 1 Cyberse Link monster from the graveyard as well. 3 copies of Cyanide Mining. Obviously a nice reinforcement of the army for the deck. Also fills up the grave. Cyanide Crosswipe to tribute a Cyberse to target and destroy a card on the field. 1-time passcode. Free materials. Also a nice way to get into Link Garibo in a pinch. Or just help climb into some of those Cyberse links. 2 copies of Triple Tactics Talent. A lot of stuff is getting searched, sent to the graveyard, or banished, or just summoned. So it's just a nice way to counter some of those hand traps we might be experiencing. 2 copies of Triple Tactics Thrust. Just kind of search out. That's one of the blank sleeves. Another additional blank sleeve here. Ideally, we would have 2 Cyanide Regression. If you special summon a Link monster, target a card on the field and destroy it, then draw 1 card. Just a nice way to reward yourself for making additional Link plays. Same thing with Cyanide Cascade is when you Link summon a monster, target a monster in the graveyard, use its material, and special summon it. So it's a nice way to recover some of those materials. And then finally, 1 Cyanide Circuit. Target a Firewall Link monster control, special summon any number of monsters from the graveyard to either player's zones, link to that monster. If life points are 2,000 or less, banish it from the graveyard to return a Firewall Link monster from the graveyard to the extra deck. Then you can special summon that monster from your extra deck. Very nice.
Wonderful.
And then finally, the Fabled side deck, which hosts a bunch of other cards. 2 Pendra Sanction, just for additional XC stuff, detach a material from it. If you have more cards in your extra deck than your opponent, apply these effects in sequence depending on the difference. 1 or more, this card gains 1,000 attack until the end of your opponent's turn. 5 or more, neither player can target this card with card effects until the end of your opponent's turn. 10 or more, banish 1 card your opponent controls. And 15 or more, make your opponent's life points 3,000. So if you're wondering how you get 15 or more, pendulums. There is a Cyberse pendulum monster, so that does work with the deck as well. I forget what it's called, but it is pretty cool. It does also have like a Macros Cosmos effect when the pendulum zone just to banish stuff that's sent to the grave. So that is how you would get that off the ground. Additional links, we have Link Decoder. Sent to the graveyard as material for a Cyberse Link monster with 2,300 or more original attack. Special summon it, but banish it when it leaves the field. Same stats or summoning conditions as Link Garibo with a level 4 or lower Cyberse. Link Disciple, same thing, level 4 or lower Cyberse. Tribute a monster this card points to draw a card, then place a card from the hand on the bottom of the deck. It's just free Link material to get your play started and get rid of some of those tokens or just monsters. But also it is a nice way to unclog your hand. Pentastag, 2 effect monsters. Your Link monster attacks a defense position monster, give it piercing damage. Just a nice level 2. You can special summon with Transcode Talker. You can co-link them and then get some additional boosts and piercing. 2 update jammers. 2 level 2 or higher Cyberse monsters. Once per battle during damage calculation. If your Cyberse monster battles, quick effect, activate this effect and negate all other card effects on the field until the end of the damage step. Damage calculation for this battle uses each monster's original attack and defense. Also, if an opponent's monster is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, burn them for 1,000 damage. If it's sent to the graveyard as link material, that link monster can make a second attack during each battle phase this turn. So a lot to unpack here. Nice way to just negate all of their effects while battling, using those original attack and defenses. If it destroys something by battle, burn them for 1,000. And if it's used for link material, that monster gets to attack twice. Very nice. An additional IP Masquerena for more protection. 2 security dragons, once while faced up on the field. If it's co-linked, target and bounce a monster your opponent controls back to the hand. This one requires just 2 monsters, so you can use a bunch of tokens for it. Xcode Talker. Once link summoned, choose unused main monster zones equal to the number of monsters currently in the extra monster zone. Those zones cannot be used while this monster is face up on the field. Monsters this card points to gain 500 attack and cannot be destroyed by card effects. So when co-linked, it's super handy, especially with Transcode Talker, as it also protects your stuff from being targeted while they're co-linked. Also, all monsters, its co-linked monsters gain 500 attack. You also get to revive a Link 3 or lower Cyberse Link monster, but get locked into Cyberse for the rest of the turn, which is pretty much all our deck is filled up, so that's no big deal for us. Access Code Talker is a nice alternate boss monster. When Link summoned, you get to target a Link monster that was used for material in the grave. Gains 1,000 attack for each Link marker it had. Banish a Link monster from the grave to destroy a card your opponent controls. You can banish different attributes to keep activating this effect, and your opponent cannot activate cards in response to access code. Firewall Dark Fluid. This is originally what Singularity was, 3 or more effect monsters. If it's Link summoned, place counters on it equal to the number of different types of Cyberse monsters in the grave, Ritual, Fusion, Synchro, and Xyz. This card gains 2,500 for each counter on it during the battle phase only. When your opponent activates a monster effect, quick effect, remove a counter from this card to negate the activation. And if this effect was activated between this card's attack declaration and the end of the damage step, it can make another attack in a row. So if your opponent's really trying to mess with you, expend a counter, negate the attack, negate the effect, go in for another attack, but also just really amp yourself up during the battle phase. They also made a new version of Dark Fluid, which is Neo Tempo Terahertz. 3 or more Cyberse. Negate any monster effects activated opponent during the battle phase. Quick effect. Send a Cyberse monster from deck or extra deck to the grave. This card gains the attribute of that monster sent to the graveyard, and it gains 2,500 attack. This card can attack a number of times each battle phase, up to the number of different attributes it has. So it's a nice flavor of Dark Fluid being more OTK and just beatdown focused, while also filling up your graveyard, which is very nice. Get caught up with chat real quick. Just still Jason in there, very nice. So we'll go ahead and finish up the sleeving here. Thanks for sticking around, chat. Very appreciative. 1 thrust, 1 regression. Do we have Parallel Exceed in the main deck?
Oh, that's a good question. Do you want me to look?
Yeah, if you could double check. I think that's what's missing. Magma. Drastic Draw. That's what also was missing.
You have to.
Oh, I do have 2. We'll have to check off stream then to see what else is.
Oh.
Trying to think what will be in that main deck slot then.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, can't check the document without crashing the stream, so go ahead and get this sleeved. We'll also get you sleeved.
Yay.
Very nice.
Wonderful.
drastic draw. Oh, there it is. Very cool. We also went and scrounged up a few IP Masquerena sleeves just to really make the deck feel Cyberse theme, even with the deck box and little tab dividers to separate the main from extra deck.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
Move those over there. Put in the 2 copies of Regression. Very nice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17, 18. So we are missing 2 effect monsters. Whatever those could be. We definitely have them. So I would put on the sheet that we were missing them. So they're definitely around here somewhere. It's not Parallel Exceed. We go through the loot again. Just to see if we miss something. Definitely not Earthbound Prisoner Stone Sweeper. Could just be in a binder somewhere. That might actually be what it is. Whoop. Insert you there. And we'll leave these sleeves off to the side. We'll use them for a few other cards. Whew! We'll do a full-scale kind of an in-depth profile in the coming days once we figure out where those 2 missing cards are. But once we have that figured out, then we'll be able to fully profile this. We'll also be working on a few other profiles that'll be coming up in the few coming weeks or months. We'll also be doing a full content overhaul with the channel. We'll be making a lot more longer form content, just a lot of montage stuff. That way you don't have to sit through just like a 1 minute or 2 minute clip. We'll try and make longer form videos. So definitely let us know in the community tab once we announce it, but also in the comments how long scale or long form content you want to see. Just if we want to aim for something that's an hour long, just a half hour, let us know what you're looking for in terms of time range, and we'll kind of craft a lot of those larger scale clips to fit that. Definitely let us know down below. Definitely keep these sleeves and top loaders saved off to the side.
Wonderful.
Very nice. Well, that'll do it for today's Cyberse theme stream. This was definitely a ton of fun. We definitely covered a lot of good stuff. Very appreciative of all of our sellers. Overdose Gaming, Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards TCG, Card Lab, Infinite Cards LLC, Yu-Gi-Oh! Hustle, and Super Meta Sales and Super Meta Bros. Very much appreciative of all the stuff that has been sent in. Especially with the card sleeves, we'll be able to really start sleeving up a bunch of decks now, so this will definitely come in handy. I'll try and order some stuff for a few other upcoming streams or deck themed streams, so if you like seeing more of what we're building in action, definitely let me know as we can grab a few more stuff for that, but definitely stay tuned next time, and we'll see you guys in the future for more pack breaks. Or just deck streams. But, in any case, see you all next